other than last week because he's taking a vacation for the first time in 3 years. So it's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. Long time coming, well deserved. And I bet he had a great time. He probably didn't even know what to do with himself. He's like, "Oh my gosh, grass."
What do I do with this? Do I sit on it?
Yeah,
Where's
yeah,
my MacBook Pro 2010? What am I supposed to code on?
yeah. It's like I touched it. Now what?
Oh man, that's so true though. Like when you take a step back, you're like, man, I gotta get back to it. And you're like, oh wait, actually, maybe I should take a little time off here. But yeah, glad he got a chance to do that. Looking forward to hearing once he gets that audio. Once he gets that audio going.
Really sure he will figure that out.
I was
If
just
code,
catching the first couple minutes of this alpha you guys just dropped on us. It's haven't the full thing yet, but it looks really good. I'm stoked to get into that today.
fun to record that. You're talking about video with Jason Slama
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
Gotchi Guardians. Yeah, we could drop that link in the chat for anyone who hasn't seen what we're talking about. I've got it somewhere here. It was really fun to record, and it was ahead of like my expectations. I hadn't seen the build for a couple weeks when I went in to see that, kind of on purpose. I was like, I want to be legit surprised. And if you get all the way through the video, you see he kind of pranks me even, which is even funnier. I didn't know Slama was that kind of had that kind of sense of humor, but he was showing me different 3D models, right? And you'll see as you go through, he's like, "Oh, we kind of reworked this
Hello?
one." There's Coder Dan.
Hey,
Hello,
that's really
hello.
weird. No audio issue. Just I don't know. Discord being weird. Hey guys,
Yeah, sometimes that
sorry to
happens.
interrupt.
Just makes up its own mind. But yeah, we just Hefe mentioned that we just dropped some pre-hangout alpha, and that was
Yeah,
the video going live of the walkthrough, the devlog with Jason. And yeah, he did a remake of the Raffle. You can kind of see it in the thumbnail if you check it out, but definitely watch through. He
that
got
is
me.
the final one, right?
Yeah, right. He had me on the spot, you know. I know we're not gonna re-record or do anything, and he just showed me this thing, and I was like, oh, what do I say? Like, this is really, really, we can't have a Pepe frog. So, Hefe, you would probably love it as a big fan. Like,
I was like, low
it was
key, I would collect that Pepe frog, but I get it too. We gotta stay with the theme of everything, right?
right, right. I was like, well, I mean, I want to collect it. It is kind of I don't know. There's something about it that made me a bit nauseous, but I still wanted to collect it. So
Oh
he was
man.
just funny guy.
Perhaps an
But
Easter egg somewhere at some point.
Yeah, it'll make
total,
it its way in there.
yeah, it's gonna become a thing now. Um, but yeah, the whole devlog's full of good info on the game's development, and it's I would say just really progressing nicely. And with the live gameplay was really fun to actually hop in and play. I told him I was like, I'm ready to stay after the call and let's just play a little bit more. So um, I think it's got a great game loop. I think it's got a lot of potential to be something that has a lot of replay value, and it's just gonna be cool. Like Tower Survival, what a mashup! It's gonna be really really good.
I'm sure a lot of people haven't seen it yet. So after this hangout, definitely go and watch it. It's in the announcements. So the game, definitely watch the gameplay part. A lot of good stuff in there. A lot of alpha.
Yeah, gameplay, and if you enjoy like getting early peeks at some of the concept art, um, there's been a lot of that. He actually held back a lot, but he picked a few favorites to show some different builds for liquidators, things like that.
I really like the concept of like all these different kinds of liquidators. Like that's gonna be really interesting to see how that unfolds. To see like the little weak ones compared to the, you know, like the matriarch, the megalix, you know,
Yeah.
the boss ones. You know, it's gonna be interesting to see what those. That's definitely something I was looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, good variety, and from a gameplay point of view, there's There's a couple in there. Like, first of all, if you've seen the one that's like a wheel, like a tire that spins around, we used to call them like Speedy Boys as a working title. Those are now looking way better. Like they, in terms of detail, the level of detail, and it's got a little muffler coming out the back, and it's really cool. So that's taken on like the level of that one's at the polished like point where you're like, okay, this is a fully developed character now. Whereas a few weeks ago, it was really cool, but it was all like informed by the gameplay only, and now our artists have kind of taken it to the next level. So super stoked about that.
I see someone in the chat here, T-Bird, saying Dire Tire. Was that another working name for the Speedy Boy?
I think that's, yeah, actually that's the name we're kind of leaning towards.
Nice.
We're calling Dire Tires now.
Nice. I
Yeah.
actually really like Dire Tire. That's it rolls
Yeah,
off the tongue real nice, you know.
Dire Tire is what I call myself after a night out on the town. Dire Tire.
Yeah, it almost like dire. It's like tired, like river. I don't know. It's not an anagram, but it's kind of interesting. So, yeah, they're super cool.
Trailer,
And
it looks amazing.
yeah, I think when you're designing a game, like you don't worry about names and stuff like that and the characteristics of the design right away. It's good that like Slama's instinct is to name and whip up these characters based almost solely on like how they're going to affect gameplay. So like Speedy Boy, right? You're going to get a lot of them very quickly. It's kind of like the pack of hyenas. You got to, shake them off real quick and then move on to one of the bigger ones. So I think that's the right way to do working titles and all that. So we got Chair on stage, GM Chair.
GM.
Yep, I muted. Salutations, everyone. How's it going?
Good. You're sounding a little quiet there on your end. If you could, or I can just.
I have to be. I'll probably jump
Perfect.
off stage until
Yeah.
my wife is awake. LOL.
Got you.
I wanted to give everyone an update. Yeah, I am back here from vacation. The grass was nice. Did a little bit of horseback riding, which was really more like riding on an autopilot horse, where you get to be on top of it and it kind of walks around. But it was cool, and did some hiking, a little bit of definitely got some sun. And yes, I was definitely missing the saddle chair. That's back in Asia, actually. I don't have it here in the U.S. I'm in a normal chair, a normie chair.
You had to have a different
But-
saddle for the horse, right?
But yeah, I did get the saddle experience, so it was nice. Yep. So happy to be back.
Yeah, acclimating. You got jet lag and all of that, or pretty much on a
Oh
US
yeah,
time?
we're back in U.S. time at this point.
Oh, real quick, if you're a director, we have some transactions to sign. So just look at the director's chat. Maxi Crouton is dropping a heap of stuff on us.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Be wrapping some things up there, which is kind of nice. That's good.
Mhm.
Also,
I'm gonna
real
try
quick,
to find a pic of me on a horse here, guys, while we're.
yes, please. We
chatting.
need to put you on a horse. The weather was really warm this week, so I'm imagining it was a little difficult, right? Being outside, touching grass.
It was actually beautiful weather because we were in the mountains. It was like in the 70s, like low 80s, 70s, and 60s throughout the whole trip. It was low humidity. It was beautiful.
Sweet spot.
Man, I'm so jealous. I got a flat tire last week, and I had to walk around like Nashville for the last 3 or 4 days until I can get my tire fixed at the local shop. But it was like heat index of 105, and I have to walk like 10 miles a
Yeah.
day. So it sucked. But I'm
Oh,
glad to
Jesus,
hear that
dude.
you had some good weather.
Yeah, it's hot now for sure. It was like with humidity and stuff, it's in the hundreds. So, but not too bad.
Little heads up on this call and this hangout. If you're trying to decide you hang for which part, I think at the bottom of the hour, and in a little bit here, we're going to get some visitors, aren't we, Dan? A couple cool people. to
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're moving now into from the GMs into our kind of weekly roundup, and then we definitely have some stuff coming up in about 10, 20 minutes with a big announcement. So stay tuned for that.
Beautiful. And then in terms of the weekly roundup, we could start at the beginning of this past week. We kicked it off proper with the full brand guide that we had revealed at last week's Hangout. That got published, and everything's up at Aavegotchi.com. So has anybody put the brand guide to use? Are you know, if you go to that link, you get the Figma, you get the zip files, you got all the good stuff there. Yeah, Dan just dropped a link to the original tweet announcing the brand guide is live. And are there any surprises or any, you know, there was some like kind of almost alpha buried inside some of the brand guide materials.
Well, I was looking at
All
that
right.
Figma. I was definitely peeping that, and maybe seeing if I can integrate some of these fonts into a new fake Gotchi. That I was honestly, I've been not really working on it. It's been like almost ready for months, but then I saw the font, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna swap the font out with that. Just get that theme in there.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's great for fake gotchis. Like, not that you have to use the brand guide because hey, it's fake, but if you want to, then there's like a lot of new material there to reference, whether it's the palettes, the gradients, the various logos and icons, the font. Yeah, the font's probably the most popular.
Yeah, I like those.
I
I
think
like that
the-
icon you just dropped there too. The two Gotchis.
So
leaning.
cute. Yeah, that's the font. That's what it is. Two little gotchis snuggling up against each other.
The Gotchi lean.
Yeah,
It's the Gotchi lean.
I look into it.
That's
I
awesome.
think I saw. Yeah, Chonya was using the new font online. I typed his name out, something along those lines. So yeah, the font is there. Make sure you guys get it. I love it that we have our own. It's like, oh yeah, it's called Aavegotchi Regular. It just feels so cool to say.
There's
So-
actually going to be an updated version of it that Gbot is working on. There's a couple spacing issues that we're aware of and just working on to fix. So that font will be updated on GitHub, and so if you are using it, I would recommend subscribing or like following to that GitHub, and then you'll get updates when the font is updated on there. I'll drop a link to the font as well. There you go.
Nice. Got the font right there. Beautiful. Yeah, and one of the alphas I was referring to is like in the Figma Hefe, right there is Gotchi Chain. So we haven't done a ton of promoting around it yet, but the Gotchi Chain logo is in there, looking beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch
There's
of
a
like
nice
that kind of
variety
stuff.
in there.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of everything.
Nice Zbot. There it is. Nice.
Yep. Yeah, that's the logo. Then there's actually the name. I don't know if we have that Gotchi chain. Has anyone actually seen that Gotchi chain name yet?
Yeah, it's in there. Don't make me go. I'll be the first to find it. Drop it in here.
It's actually on our Twitter X Gotchi chain as well. If you go here and you look at the header, it's also there.
Mm.
Looking really nice.
Yeah, and if you're like, how do we find this? It's Aavegotchi.com. Scroll to the bottom in the footer. It says press kit. And then you've got everything there at the press kit.
What about that GitHub? Where can I find that GitHub with the font?
Oh, I just posted it a second ago. It's
Oh.
just Aavegotchi -font.
I see it. Logo.
And
Huge.
so yeah, that's the brand guide. And then rarity farming. Everyone get your stimmies. How'd that go? Curious how did kinship burn affect anything? Anyone have any experience of that so far?
I've been always a kinship collector. Not much of a
Yep.
channeler. So I've kind of kept my gotchis more or less the same, just collecting that kinship.
Yeah, I haven't been channeling, so I was like, let's stack up the pets, baby. So I don't really know. Was there any movement at the very top of the leaderboard?
I think on the very top, no. But what I noticed when I was running the script for the airdrop, uh, there was about starting from about position 6,000 or so, there were some changes happening in the leaderboard due to the kinship burning.
Oh snap! My Gotchi probably got a couple extra ghosts because I'm somewhere in
Yeah.
that the 6,000.
Crypto Gotchi says some Gotchis in the top 100 actually channeled once or twice. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, things are going to get very interesting in the next few weeks because the Gotchi Vault, I believe, has one of the best petters out there. I don't know if their petting service is going to end, but things will get more competitive because the other petting services that I know of aren't as timely as the Gotchi Vault.
Right.
I could be mistaken, but this should be interesting.
Even Orium. How does it work over at Orium?
I'm the wrong person to ask. I know that with Orium, it's not we don't pet as fast as the Gotchi Vault. I know it's pet before, it's like within the time frame, so you don't lose kinship, but it's not like on the second. So I've actually pushed for Arnani to create a premium petting service. We're
Nice.
still talking about it because I figure it's worthwhile. I'm also trying to get him to get a withdraw all Gotchi ghost pocket earnings from rarity farming kind of function. But he's on vacation, so I'm gonna keep bothering him while he's like touching grass.
We may be able to add that to the DApp, the batch withdrawal. It requires a new contract upgrade, so it's a little bit tricky, but we're going to be looking at that as well. So that might not be something that needs to be done by a third party.
Yeah, it'd be awesome because right now my gotchis are just getting fat with Ghost. I'm not even touching the rare rewards. I'm like, you're my little bank. Let's just sit there and avoid
Yeah.
taxes.
Let it
Good.
stack.
There you go. Good strategy. Well, nice. Well, let me drop the just the Twitter X post that we just dropped here a second ago one more time in case there's anyone new coming in for the devlog. And just a heads up that this is kind of the precursor to the official devlog that will be dropping in a couple days here at the beginning of the month. So this video will be included in that devlog, and there'll be obviously a lot more content, especially featuring some updates from the arena, we just had a play test on Friday, and it was pretty damn fun.
Are you
Yeah.
referring to the current arena or the upcoming redesigned 3D arena?
Mhm.
The redesigned 3D one.
Ooh,
The
yeah,
build.
I figured. Awesome.
Yeah, we had a whole team playing it, and it was still pretty bare bones, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it was like a proper, I don't know. It was a totally different vibe than the current arena build. Except in some sense, I mean, it was like still very much frantic and chaotic, but in a good way, like in a better way than how I feel where I get my ass kicked in the 2D version. So I like the 3D one because I ranked a little bit higher. I was climbing the leaderboard slightly. So it was cool, very intuitive. I think the more important point is just like since Andy has come in as director, you can see he's really got a very clear vision and he knows how to get there, and he's just kind of like just really taking it to another level where it's moving at such a clip, like week to week.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be fine. Like he's just steering this right where it needs to go. So super stoked after the playtest.
Talking
Yep.
to
So
one
there'll
of the
be a lot of updates. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say just real quick on Jesse's point there. Talking to one of the RFox people from their community, they were like, "Oh my God, you guys got Andy Tudor! Congratulations!" I mean, he's well known, so like we're definitely fortunate to have some really incredible talent on the team.
Who was that saying that? R Fox?
Our Fox, yeah, they're doing that these 3D metaverse rooms, like VR experiences.
Oh yeah. Cool. Yeah, he's kind of a legend. He's an awesome guy. Super cool to have him on the team, and he brings such leadership and expertise to our. We're very we're a team of blockchain guys, so we knew that we want to really take this to the next level. We need to have a team of awesome game industry veterans on the team, and that's exactly what we got with Slama and Andy.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian. I mean, Christian also brings many years of experience in his own way, but these guys are even next level from him.
Yeah, it'd be really incredible to see, the release and get to finally get our hands on this for sure.
See a couple other things. No Future, you were on a Spaces with DAP Radar. How was that, sir?
It was good. I was actually it was really good. I got to freestyle like in the first minute or so because there was a delay. And there was this other dev person that was just like violent. He wanted to he's like, play to earn games is garbage. Web3 games, no, there's no such thing as an on-chain game. And I just sat there and bit my tongue. I'm like, I'm not gonna argue with you. Just go check the logs. We got it, buddy. But it was a lot of fun. DAP Radar is cool as hell. And I at the end of it, I try to make a pitch telling people, hey, if you are building something cool, hit me up, come over to our DAO. We are looking for people building games or useful tools. So it's always a pleasure to rep the DAO. And whenever you guys need someone to jump on stage, just let me know.
Nice, yeah. Glad I went well.
Yeah, even with the naysayer, which is good. You get that contrast. Then you get to be like, actually, I think we're doing okay over here.
You remind me of like that Channel 5 guy. Like every video he does, he's got to have some freestyling in it. I don't know if you guys know who Channel 5 is, but yeah.
It was like the host. He was like, "Oh yeah, we were supposed to have music for the first 5 minutes of this," and he's like, "I'm gonna freestyle." So he starts beatboxing and freestyling. He's like, "Anybody want to jump in?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, I've been waiting for this for like 2 years. This is my chance." And I didn't do well, but still, I tried.
Nice. Let's see. Before we get into our next part of the hangout here, I see on our notes here, Chainlink SmartCon teaser shared of Barcelona in real life event. That was, I believe, Nigel shared his. I was out last week, so I'll be sharing mine this week as well. But yeah, Barcelona, Chainlink SmartCon, and Nigel and I are going to be repping Gotchi Gang there. Might have one or two other members from Pixelcraft there hanging. But my first time in Spain. It's going to be cool. Going to hopefully get to meet Sergey and definitely meet some of the other Link Marines. Let me see if I can find Nigel's tweet, or maybe he's got it if he's hanging around.
Nice. That Sergey Coder Dan pick's gonna be epic.
Oh yeah.
Dan in his red plaid shirt.
Yes.
Sergey in blue.
Yes.
I might have to break out the Hawaiian shirt for that.
That sounds good. Yeah, that's gonna be big. And I think you just said you got a speaking slot there, right? I mean, you're gonna be on stage, so
I do, yeah.
to
Yep.
deliver.
Yeah, most likely I'll be wearing some of our Gotchi merch. That'll be my outfit.
Oh yeah.
Which is a good segue into the next part of our hangout here. I don't know if we got Lost Local in the audience ready to come up.
That, or is this the part where I get to model all my new merch that just arrived?
Yes, sir.
I just had a big
Oh,
shipment arrive.
Did it really? Did it just arrive? Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I got a little bit of everything. Everything but the hat. I think that came out just after I ordered, so I even messed that up. I really want the hat,
Mhm.
the new logo.
Yeah, the hat looks good. Did you get the shorts or swim trunks? I'm not sure if they're swim trunks or just shorts.
Yeah, yeah, I think those are swim trunks. I haven't even got to try them on yet. I was just wearing the sweatpants. I'm in love with those, and I don't have a pool nearby, but I did get a pair. Um, and then my favorite so far is the long sleeve tee. That one just fits really well. It's a good cut, and I love the little patch. These patches like just add another level to it. Like so,
You're talking about the little gotchi on the leg of the pants, correct?
yeah, and on the long sleeve tee, it's on the left sleeve, like where your watch would go. You got this little patch gotchi, and I always
Yeah, I
look
mean,
down and I'm just like, yeah. Riding with my cat.
GM, everyone.
Yo,
Jam.
How is everyone doing?
very well, sir. Good morning.
I'm wishing it's a little colder because I have this whole like sweatsuit gotchi thing going on, but I can't wear it because it's 100 degrees where I am now.
Oh, we got to get you some of the summer gear, which is going to drop in just a few minutes. So you'll have
Nice.
some alternative options soon.
Heck yeah.
Drop it, sir. Are we ready?
I am well. It's so I nothing will show up until 10:30 EST.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so on the dot it'll go live in just
Ooh.
3 minutes. So but leading up to that, I can let everyone know. I don't know if we want to talk about the promotion that we're running with Destiny's Blade, Margin's Blade.
Let's
Did we
do
want
it.
to go into that? Yeah, cool. So, as y'all know, we did drop the prologue to our comic book series, Margin's Blade, last week at Comic-Con. Part of that was releasing a handful of physical copies. We are issuing 100 more of physical copies of the prologue. This is just a very short, introduction to the story that we're rolling out. So we didn't feel like this was really a product that was selling to the community. It was also not cheap to produce. There was really no way to put it up for sale or mass produce this. So what we want to do is give people who are passionate about merch and physical items an opportunity to get a copy by purchasing $100 or more of merch from the shop. It can be any items. There's new items going live in just 2 minutes, so there'll be more to select from. And all you'll need to do is make your purchase. If that purchase is over $100, we will be sending a claim link next week, which will issue you both a digital collectible, which is one of the coolest frames from this chapter of the comic series. And you will also receive a physical copy of the prologue sent to you. Just a heads up, those physical copies are in production. So the apparel that you order will likely show up first, and then you'll receive that copy of the comic book separately. So yeah, we're really excited about this. It was really cool to see it come to life and be able to hold comic with Bushido Gotchi in there and all that. So we're really excited about this.
yeah, very well explained. And I see Dan, you just dropped a tweet that I think just went out with more like basically the same details that Lost Local just shared, right?
Yes,
Be
sir.
one of the first 100 people to spend 100 at the store. All that new gear going live in about 30 seconds, and you'll get a copy of the limited edition Margin's Blade. And yeah, it's a beautiful little prologue. The Lost Local is the only one on the call that's gone hands-on with it, I think. And you were just saying print quality's pro level. It's really good. Beautiful actual piece of physical merch, and it is a prologue, so it's like it's not like I've had a lot of people hitting me up saying, "What's the? I want to know the whole story." Like I'm FOMOing, and it's a prologue, so it sets things up in a really nice way. And maybe later in this call, we'll actually preview a bit of the prologue and announce when the digital copy will be coming. If you just want to, read the digital version of it with our partners at VoiceMe. So So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of ways to get your hands on the story, but right now, Lost Local, according to my clock, it should be live. Is that correct?
Let's go.
Okay, 1 second. Let's see.
Oh, and Dan, is that the confirmed date? I knew it was about a week out, either August 3rd or August 5th. So we'll
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the last date that I saw. Maybe if anyone has any updated info.
and if you're unaware of Voice Me, they're hosting all sorts of user generated content, awesome fresh like comics and partner with people like Aavegotchi to bring different stories to life. So really cool platform. And when it goes live on August 5th, you'll definitely want to, sign up and you can actually read the whole thing digitally over there as well.
Yeah, do we have Lotus on the call? Lotus
Uh,
from Voice Me.
Yeah,
Drop in and
Lotus, you're welcome on stage. Chat a little bit about Voice Me and this comic.
Hello.
hey,
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Great.
Very well.
great man.
That's good. I'm happy to hear.
Is it pretty early? Pretty early for you, sir?
No, it's like 8:30 in the morning. So I guess
nice.
depending on what you consider early.
I'm going to drop the link to your guys' site so everybody can follow along if they haven't already been to voice.me, VOYCE. That is the place to go.
Yeah, no. I'm super excited to be here and get to be a part of this story here. The guys at Aavegotchi are so smart and so incredible with their lore that it blew us away. So we're very, very excited to show you guys this prologue. It's something that we're really proud of. We had some of our best artists on it. If you look through the series, like God Game on there, we actually ended up taking the lead artist from that series to work on this for Aavegotchi. So it is really, really high quality. Man, I'm super excited to get to see your guys' reaction to this. I hope you all love it because it is truly incredible.
That's a really good point. And you mentioned that we benefited from one of your best artists coming over to work on this. And
Yeah.
what was the name of the other project he's working on? Is that one of the more popular web series that you guys are hosting?
Yeah, so the guy who drew your comic, his name is Third. He's a pretty popular artist just in general. I think he has like tens of thousands of followers on Instagram, but he was the lead artist on God Games. So he actually turned that series into what it is today. It's a huge series now with offers from some big streaming platforms to adapt it and stuff. It's what really is put Voice Me on the map, and that's who drew your comic, along with some help from our concepting team. But yeah, it was really Third who brought this to you guys, and he's incredible.
That's huge. And I'm trying to get like different links and stuff. So by all means, if there's a link to Third's work or Instagram or you're more than welcome.
Grab it.
And
Yeah, the cool thing about Voice Me is that you guys are not only a publisher, but you also have. I mean, we could not have done this comic without you guys. It's been awesome to see. Not only did you help with like story based on the input that we provided, but you also had the artist in house or you're cooperating with to actually design it, because we're awesome at blockchain and lore and coding, but we've never made a comic before. So we wanted to partner with some leaders in the webtoons and webcomic space. And yeah, you guys platform is growing really, really fast. It's crazy to see. Especially God Game is delivering a ton of like traffic to the site. It's kind of blowing up. So we're excited to see Aavegotchi coming in to this growing platform and seeing whether or not some of your readers will also discover Aavegotchi through Voice Me.
I mean, with that prologue, I'm sure they will. Yeah, Third went really hard for that, and I was wrong. He has nearly 100,000 followers, but yeah,
Nice.
it's gonna. I really think that the audience is gonna love it. Like I think it's like this perfect mix of this like kind of cutesy characters, but the art is so flashy and the action it is so clean. Um, that I actually think it's gonna be this sort of enigma in the space that really um takes off and it really gets a lot of people hyped for what you guys are doing, especially when there's a game
Yeah.
um attached to it. Like that's huge. People love when they can like read something and then connect it on another level. You guys are gonna be doing something incredible with this.
Yeah, man. Everyone loves a good isekai story, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of the isekai genre.
Lost Local, you were there at Comic-Con with Voice Me. Now, Lotus, were you there with Jason or other people from the Voice Me team? But
I was, yep.
okay, okay. And Local, you were saying the reaction to the physicals. I mean, people are always excited to get any kind of merch or physical, but in terms of, did you talk with anybody that actually, sat down and went through the prologue, and were they surprised, or was that their first time talking to you and talking about Aavegotchi? And I just think it's a really, great way to get introduced to the brand and to Aavegotchis in general. But I'm curious what you actually saw.
Yeah, we actually, Lotus and I both had the opportunity to chat with some folks that were kind of established in the comic book world at the event that we did with Oniforce. Oniforce has put a lot of effort into teaming up with some really established veterans in the comic book space. So the gentleman who wrote their series is responsible for the Batman comic book movie. And it was cool to kind of be able to just present and display our comic book alongside some of these other established players in the space, and everyone had nothing but positive feedback. In fact, Henry, the CEO of Oniforce, I believe, are you guys chatting right now, Lotus? I think they started talking, and there was a conversation there that started. So they're already working with a bunch of folks from DC, and they're now talking to Voice Me and picking their brain a little bit.
Yeah, no, I actually had a funny interaction with Henry where I was unaware that he was the CEO of Oniforce. Him and Jason Lost Local were talking. I was like, "Oh, like who are you?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm with the Oniforce." I was like, "Oh yeah," like we were just talking. And then by the end of the conversation, I was like, "Oh, like what is it that you do for Oniforce?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm the CEO," and I was like, "Oh, great, very very chill guy."
Yeah, that's good. That's not a bad thing. I'm going to drop a link to your Twitter as well. Everybody can follow Voice Me's Twitter here, and over the next week or so, you're going to start seeing a lot about the Aavegotchi story.
Yes, yeah, we're gonna be running a lot of marketing campaigns with you guys. Hopefully, we'll be able to get some interviews with you guys. Anna will be pumping stuff out.
Yes, and we are live in the shop, guys. If you want boxers, if you want
Ooh.
Gotchi slides, if you want a Gotchi wave towel or board shorts, you can get those now in the shop.
Instant retro. Nice.
Yeah, I was stoked that we got to make some fun summer stuff with our old pixelated Gotchis, because as we move into the future, I'm not sure how much the old logo and style is going to make it into our merch. So it was cool to get some of this stuff out ASAP now that we've rebranded.
Oh, it'll be there for sure. I mean, it'll be a nice mix. But these
Okay, cool.
these are pure retro. With
Definitely.
especially the old logo on the slides. Like that's gonna be. I don't know how much we'll actually use that logo, but we'll definitely have the pixelated gotchis and a good mix of 3D and pixel. So it's gonna get real funky and fun in the
Love
next
it.
batch here. But yeah, these look fire, man. So
In
good.
terms of sizes, is this American or like European? Like if I order a medium, is it really a small, or should I be ordering larger than I'm thinking?
Sir, these were they're traditional, I'd say. They're pretty true to size. For the shorts, definitely, like I'm a large, and the large fit me great. And I will notice it's in the product description. But the board shorts are unlined, so I do suggest a pair of Gotchi boxers underneath or your favorite pair of undies. I have a pair of Billabong bathing board shorts that are unlined, and I noticed after the first time I wore them that at certain angles you might give people a show. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, only wear them unlined with people with high kinship.
Right, high kinship, or I like to joke, I think the Europeans are probably a little less shy than the Americans about that, but that's a cultural thing, so personal preference.
So just to repeat the kind of the deal there, I see at the top of the site, free physical copy of Margin Blade Prologue and digital collectible with orders of $100 and up, limited supply of 100. So that's going to go away after the first 100 of these orders have come in. And I saw someone asking, can you just do multiple orders of 100 to get like multiple copies of the prologue?
You absolutely can, but part of the reason we're rolling it out this way is, obviously, guys, everything is in the Aavegotchi world's collectible, but we by no means want to like create chaos or create like, a hype train or get people just buying merch just to get this comic book. Obviously it's a very cool collectible and all that, but we will be releasing a full physical copy of the entire volume once we tell this whole story through this first round. So this prologue will be part of that. So there will be the opportunity to have that in the full volume. So I just don't want people FOMOing and going crazy, and all that. So yes, you will receive more than one. I don't think it's a wise move to make 50 orders to try to corner the market on the prologue.
And the comic will also be released digitally as well via the VoiceMe platform. It's not like this is, you'll probably be able to see it online before it arrives, because it'll probably take a few days to actually arrive. So if you want to be like the first to watch it or read it, it probably, digital will be, it'll arrive faster that way.
Definitely. Yeah. The physical's still in production because we did do those last minute. So it's probably going to, that's going to drag like a week or so. So the digital, I think our rollout is in a week. So you'll probably see that first.
Good point. I mean, we could get ahead of that a bit, Dan, and even do some alpha here. We've got VoiceMe with Lotus on the call. We got Jason here. Maybe we just actually show a bit of the prologue. We turn
Sure. I mean, the opening to this is it's so crypto in everything we do. We want to make sure we're with our roots. So you want to go ahead and drop the first page of the prologue. The prologue's not super long. It's like, I think it's 3 comic book pages. It's like 20 panels or so.
Yes.
Because it's just a prologue. It's showing how Bushido Gotchi came to be, and I think it's a pretty funny story. It's very, very Aavegotchi.
Yeah, and when you get ready to drop it, I think just want to say, like, this has been really collaborative between Lotus's team and ours in putting this together. And Dan, you were very much in like the concepting of the story and how it kicks off and making sure it ties back to the roots of Aavegotchi. So I think the end result just feels really good, but we'll let you guys decide here in a minute.
This story was actually developed like by Dan initially when we were going through like pitches for these stories. Dan actually had this idea. I was like, this is so good. So Dan is the real creative wizard behind this.
I mean, it's funny because we showed you guys, like, we gave you the dump of all the lore and all the characters, and it's funny. I thought it was hilarious that you also, like, of all the different Gotchi characters that we gave you to look at, you guys also honed in on Bushido Gotchi, and I was like,
yeah, I mean, he's badass. He's so cool.
Yeah. So Margin's Blade is the story of Bushido Gotchi and how he has arrived in the Gotchi verse, and the prologue is kind of it's not happening all it's like it's not linear in time. The beginning is the beginning, but the second and third page are not necessarily happening like right consecutively. So there's a lot of time that's passed between the first and the second and third.
Yeah, I got some character development that we have to explore.
Yeah, so the actual story is going to be, you're probably going to meet Bushido Gotchi before it was Bushido Gotchi, like when he first arrives in the Gotchi verse as this like super awkward, newly minted Gotchi that has no idea what the hell's going on. And so we'll be following the story of how that character progresses and then eventually becomes Bushido Gotchi.
So a bit of an origin story here at the start. If you're ready, I will drop the first page, second page.
Let's do it.
Here we go. Let's jump into this. So, 1 second.
All right.
Okay. I hear you're quite the voice actor.
Yeah, I'll try to narrate it here. Let's see. So we start off, we're on a train here. Somewhere, could be Japan, could be somewhere in the US, somewhere undisclosed. And this guy, we're on the train, he's saying, trading gurus always say, let your winners ride. I should hold on a bit longer. And then we see him on the train. He's on his phone doing some trades, and looks like the trade doing well. So he went a little bit longer, but then something maybe not going as well. So he says, "Oh, it's just a minor correction. I won't let him shake me out." And then it kind of keeps going down and down and down. He says, "Well, I'm too invested to pull out now. Everything I own is riding on this trade." And then at the end, oh shit, I shouldn't have been so greedy. Now I've lost all my profits. So he's still in profit. He hasn't lost anything yet. And so he says, all right, I better close my position now before I lose everything. And then, he's going into a tunnel. And at the top of the tunnel there, what do you see?
What do we got?
Two hungry liquidators saying
My gosh.
he didn't sell. And then we go into the tunnel. Huh? No connection? No! How could I have been so stupid? I've lost everything. How will I explain this to my family? Liquidated. Margin call. And then the final scene, he's jumping off somewhere. He's done. He's finished. Can't take the weight of the world any longer. So he jumps off a building and he's going to go somewhere. I think we all know kind of where he's going. We see the big portal in the background.
Yeah.
Looming in the background.
I don't think he knows where he's going, but he's going to end up somewhere pretty special.
Yeah.
Little, Yeah, it's looking a little grid-like, and that ominous great portal in the backdrop, looking epic.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite panels.
Those liquidators,
Yeah,
man, they'll get you.
You said they went dark. Like you were talking about lore and it going dark. It's like, oh god, this guy's just falling from the sky.
Dude, Aavegotchi it's dark. It's a little bit of a dark story. I mean, these little gotchis, these happy little gotchis are formed at like the moment of extreme sadness or fear when you've just been liquidated. Not every Gotchi obviously comes from this dark of an origin story, but Bushido Gotchi is going to be, he's so powerful. So the more violent the origin story, the more powerful the Gotchi potentially. Yep, Z-Bot, smile if you're dead inside.
Are we going through the whole prologue today, or just this first?
No,
little bit?
we'll just do the first page here.
Gotcha. Okay. Dang, I was gonna say some of the art coming up is so fire.
I know. There's some more panels that just look fantastic. But you're right, Dan. So the rest of that prologue it kind of does a big time jump, and you see, okay, we've got a lot to figure out here because Bushido Gotchi is among us. And you earlier you mentioned this, like a lot of people probably know, but I'll ask on behalf of those of us who weren't familiar right away. What's isekai, and how is this an isekai story?
Yeah.
Maybe
So
Lotus can talk to that.
yeah. So isekai is probably one of the most famous genres within the manga anime space, and it is broken down simply as somebody goes somewhere that is not of their planet. They get taken, reincarnated, kidnapped, whatever it may be, but it is the form of someone from Earth ending up in a fantasy world. And so the Aavegotchi story is effectively that. Alice in Wonderland could be considered the first isekai flame. But yeah, so our trader here is the product of the wonderful isekai genre. But you're like a ton of stories. Like Bleach is a huge manga. It's like probably one of the top 3 of all time. That's like one of the most famous isekai stories. If you guys want to see another really good one, I'm a big fan of Bleach. But yeah, isekai is just someone going somewhere new.
Cool. Well, then
I think it's Japanese, right? It means like another world, basically. I think it's like, I don't know how I guess in Japanese it's like isekai. In Chinese it's ishijia, so like a different world.
Yeah, very, very, very. Yeah, I believe that is correct, because I know Kai is like landscape or world.
Yeah.
Yeah, different world, other world.
Well, this story is definitely going to take people into the Citadel, into the realm, the Gotchi realm, and
we're going to meet a lot of the characters too. I mean, you can see. Do we have people seen the pictures of Geisha Gotchi and Gotchi Princess?
Yeah, we do. We have some posters if you would like for us to show those.
I think we've dropped. Have we showed those on Twitter? I think so.
Maybe. I don't know, but I know that also Lotus had prepared. There's like some concept art that includes those on a page.
Yeah. So if you go further into the comic, Jesse. Oh yeah, no, Jesse. If you go further into the comic, if you skip past the last panel of Geisha Rothel and Bushido Gotchi, there's actually a ton of concept work in there, so you can see some behind the scenes stuff, some drafts, some line art. So you guys can also
I'll drop one of the posters here. Are these going to be made into real posters at some point?
That is 100% possible.
Cool. Yeah. So this is dropped from. Is this going to be included in the physical itself, like these behind the scenes scenes like this?
Behind the scenes are in the physical.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, I will also just drop a little alpha that we did a slight cover adjustment. So in typical comic book fashion, there are 25 copies from Comic-Con out there with a slightly different cover than the 100 that are going out on the with the promotion. So kind of a cool little tidbit there. I just remembered.
Oh yes.
Yeah, the first print, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But
there may be.
He's collectible, right, Jason?
What's that? No, but there may be a couple of those. Just saying, there may be a couple of those that might find their way to future IRL events for raffles, because Lost Local might have a couple copies of those. I'm just saying. So
very cool.
Make sure you show up to all of our IRL events in the future. You never know what's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say Jason does throw the coolest events.
Well, that's very kind of you, Lotus. Thank you.
Well, for you, anything.
Good times in San Diego. Jealous. Very, very jelly. Cool. So we can expect a little bit more of this kind of behind the scenes and concept art posters included in the comic, the physical. That's what I just heard. So
Yes.
you've got the prologue and a little bit of extra there at the end. And yeah, there's only 100 of these bad boys. Obviously, I'm getting one of them, so now we're down to 99. But I
Yeah,
think it
seriously.
sets the stage. I like this. It's kind of Alice in Wonderland, kind of this poor trader is heading to a very different Wonderland. So I can't think of a stronger character from our wearable set releases for like exploring the Gotchiverse
Mhm.
as a lead.
Yeah, no, Bushido Gotchi was he was instantly drawn to us as he's just this, this spectral samurai. Like that's cool. Like that's so cool. So we were 100% going to be going with him.
And I think one thing, this is not in this frame that we shared, but story of Bushido Gotchi, he doesn't want to stay in the Gotchi verse forever. He wants to get back, and that's a big turn that we've never really talked about. But is it possible to actually get back once you've spawned in the Gotchi verse? How do you get back to the real world? We're going to be
To be
exploring that as
discovered.
well. Yeah.
You discovered.
Now we've got a redemption arc. This is
Yep.
good. Heck yeah.
Yeah, and I'm super excited for you guys to see this. I'm super proud of what we're able to do. And I think the most shocking thing, this comic was completed in 9 days, from scripting to drafts to line art to colors. This is all done in about 9 days.
It's crazy when you think about what can be done when a group of people just get really passionate
Yeah,
and really intensely focused for a short amount of time.
yeah, it was a great testament to just people working together. So I'm super excited to see everyone fall in love with this character.
Well, we got just a
Nice.
couple minutes till hit the second hour, which will feature the DAO call. And so definitely stick around. There's a couple big happenings with the DAO. But before we do get to that, Dan, did we cover pretty much everything we wanted to with Bushido Gotchi and the Blade?
Yep.
And
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. Great. Everybody follow me. Follow and just I don't know if you're also on Twitter X, but you could start by just getting to voice me and getting an account, right? Because when this goes live, I don't know if there's any hoops or anything people need to know, but I think all they really need to do to start is sign up at voice.me.
So it's all free to read. You don't even need an account to read it. However, if you want to leave comments, leave likes, that is where you need an account. But to read and just browse, you don't need an account. But if you guys want to engage with the IP, which we obviously strongly recommend, you will need an account.
Cool. Yeah, please make an account, and when this goes live, we want to, make some noise and get hopefully a whole new audience of the Voice Me readers. Hopefully this story appeals to them, and the artwork I think will be very well received.
Oh man, with this artwork, everyone's gonna love it. Voice Me, Aavegotchi, everyone just on the internet, it's gonna be amazing.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for episode 1.
I agree.
Cool. Well, a few minutes here. If anyone from the community wants to come up, we'll do a quick, maybe 5 minutes of if you got anything to share, any big auctions coming up, any new fake Gotchi pieces, or kind of work in progress things that you're working on. Feel free to come up and share it with everyone here in the audience, and then we'll head into the DAO call.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just invited him up. You're welcome to come up here. And then little run thought today. We'll look at the proposals here real quick, and then we can also I'll get Oliver Spoon up here, who's going to be discussing his Gotchi dungeon crawler that he's been developing. The idea, the forum post is out there, and he's gonna run us through the whole of it. And I think it's pretty exciting. So that'll be something to look forward to. Also, we have Rare Evo coming up. I've touched base with Lost Local, and we do have some people in the community who have put their hand up to help out with that. And so maybe we can have a little bit of a conversation around, how the DAO might want to get involved in some of these events, either Rare Evo or, coming up after that. So those are some of the things we got for the DAO call coming up.
Just quickly, I shared Orium Network has added some new features to the lending information. We're now giving rental data. So basically information about the rental, your Gotchi, what it's generating in terms of earnings and stuff like that. Take a look at it. It's a Medium post. I actually wrote this article. If you have any suggestions on other metrics that we should be adding to this data, let me know and I'll relay it to the devs.
Nice. Awesome. Do we have anything else, like Coda Dan said, fake Gotchis, something you're working on? Actually, real shout out to Grim here. He is running, I don't know if you're still in the audience with us, but he is running a epic giveaway for some, I believe, land parcels and maybe even a portal. So if that tweet is out there, maybe we can get that tweet reposted here for people to join. Otherwise, if you want to come up here and also let people know what they have to do to get this or be part of this, that would be great. I know you dropped it earlier during the call as well. And then Soji,
Also,
I know you
we're
also
in the
tweet.
arena.
What's that? Sorry.
Oops, sorry. I was saying we're in the arena. I'm going to be dropping proto-licks and doing some super chats. So if you guys want to jump in and have some fun, just jump in there. I'm going to be dropping them all over the place.
Got you. There you go. Soji, you're also dropping some epic stuff as well. Golden Cross, thank you. Yeah, GM, you ghastly transcenders. Today, unleash your confidence like a howling werewolf and let your wit cast spells that leave everyone bewitched. Embrace your inner ghoul and conquer the day with charm and mischief. So that is the beginnings of how you can get involved with Grim and his contest he has going on right now. Yep, Soju, you're dropping some artwork there. Prince Nimbus Vomitus 3. Man, that little Nimbus is getting quite the accolades here as the newest pet. There's something about the virality of pets in the Aavegotchi ecosystem.
Prince Nimbus Vomitus III. Nice.
Very cool. And there's also another lens-themed one that I'd seen that was looking pretty crispy. Meanwhile, while you're pulling that one up, oh yeah, okay, not yet. I'll pull up the snapshot and we'll run through the proposals here. Flip my screen. 1 second. Flip that. Sorry guys, I'm just flipping my screens around here.
Also, I guess while Hefe gets ready, just shout out to finally being done with Obix. I'm just so happy that this is
I
done.
was waiting for someone to say it.
We don't have to talk about it anymore. That's all I just wanted to say. Good job, guys.
Perfect. And that's all we're going to say on the call about that. So I'm glad that's done. Finally got to conclusion there. And also shout out to the directors for signing off on that and getting that through. So is that actually officially through now? I know we needed one more signer on that transaction to get it done.
It went through, I believe, last night. Sir Linkius took the call to action.
Nice.
I was hesitant, and I'm happy that somebody else signed off on it. But it's yeah. I'll sign everything else. This was the one thing I was like, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Shout out to all you who did that. And yeah, awesome. Okay, so real quick here, let's run through these proposals. I'd like to get Oliver Spoon up here as well. So I'll actually leave that Gotchi crawler demo proposal for that. Let's run through Just some core proposals that have come up from Signal proposals. We already talked about the OVIX funds return to the multi-sig. That one passed, luckily. And yeah, all good there. Agap 89 forged 2.0 new schematics methodology and godlike sets. This was Mikey J's methodology and is proposing 14 new schematics designed by the Forge team with 4 new 4-piece godlike sets. So looks like 66% of the DAO is in favor of, with 33% not in favor, but it has not met quorum yet. 6.5 million votes out of 9 million votes. So that's Agap 89. Agap 90, we have Geode schematic distribution and final non-drop ticket raffle. And this is proposing that we end the tiered raffle system completely with a final raffle. So all the common to godlike tickets will be used for this raffle if this passes. And any other leftover friends or tickets you have will have to be turned into drop tickets for a final raffle, or whatever we decide at that point to clean up the rest of our outstanding friends. So Agap 90 right now, 68% of the DAO is in favor of all the terms here. 2.1 million ghosts, or 31%, is against the proposal and still has not met quorum. 6.6 million votes out of 9 million votes. You have 4 days on those proposals. And so next up, I'd like to, Oliver Spoon, if you'd like to come up, we can get you up on stage here, sir. Is Oliver Spoon in the audience?
I wanted to say also the light paper that he wrote for this Gotchi crawler should be the standard
Yes.
of like information being disseminated for proposals. I thought it was
For
like
sure.
spot on, like literally the most in-depth thing I've seen so far from anybody in the DAO besides like I guess Mikey.
Yeah, it was exemplary for sure. Absolutely, really well put together. Yeah, and we have Oliver Spoon. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks, and thanks for the kind words. Yeah, I just wanted to run through the idea a little bit and then open up the floor for questions or suggestions about what you guys think about the concept.
Absolutely.
So first, I just want to say I'm really humbled and so grateful to see so much support for this concept. I'm looking at the snapshot; it's like an overwhelming 90% in favor, which feels wonderful. To be honest, it feels really, really nice to see that. And Slick and I are really pumped to deliver something really fun for the community. Let me pull up the docs here.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I'll say, you guys are OG Aavegotchi community members. So if there's anybody in our ecosystem that gets the flavor and the vibe of what we're doing here, like it's a no-brainer. I think that's why you're seeing that 90% in favor of is, we know, where you guys have been and what you're capable of. So I think
Thanks for
we'll be
that.
impressed for sure. So you dropped the light
Well,
paper there.
we hope to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the light paper here.
Awesome.
And yeah, one of the core design things was to really look over basically the assets in the community and how to, find new and innovative ways to utilize our broad ecosystem, right? We have so many different things, from the wearables to now all the Forge components to XP and kinship. There's like so many different parts of this ecosystem. It's like, how can we use all of these, or as many as possible, in a fun gaming environment? So that was one of the core design ideas behind the game. And then of course to the forefront is just to make a game that's fun, just flat out a fun game to play, but also really honors and celebrates the community and all the things that we have going on. So yeah, I guess I can just run through the light paper and kind of give an idea of the background of the game and what we have in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So the game premise is to build a multiplayer roguelike dungeon crawler. So it's essentially like a bottomless mines where you go in, and the objective of the game is twofold. One is to collect as much treasure as possible, and then the other is to descend as far as possible. So the idea is there'll be 2 leaderboards there, where one is a score based and one base sort of thing. And there's two vital mechanics here. Like you have your health, but then you also have your essence, right? So every Gotchi has 1,000 essence, and that's like a timer. So, these mines are corrupted, right? I won't tell the story, but there's a corruption of the mines that slowly drains the essence of the Gotchis. And that's going to be put into play there with the time. And then once your essence is consumed, you have game over, or if you die, you have game over. But one of the really novel concepts I think is going to be really fun to play with is there's like an all or none scoring mechanism. So what that is you have to make it to a floor multiple of 10 and actually teleport out with your treasure. So you might make it to the merchant floor, which is like on number 10, and have 2 minutes left, and really have to decide, can you make it to 10 more to get out in time, or do you escape now? It's like this like risk versus reward situation you're faced with. So that should be pretty fun. With regards to roguelike, I think roguelikes fit really well in for where we're at. They're quite difficult to beat, and it's randomized with each playthrough, and will allow for customization of our characters. So one thing that we're going back and forth with the design is how much of RPG do we want to be, and how much of like pure roguelike do we want to be? So like with a RPG, that's going to be really stat heavy, where every Gotchi is like really, really different, just like in an RPG where you have like your tanks, your heal, and your DPS. Or do we lean more heavily into the roguelike concept, where most characters are flat? So that's just something that's being shaped in the background. But for roguelikes, yeah, it's really fun to play. And just general feedback, people love playing roguelikes, myself included. It's just a really fun genre and great game to play. Yeah, so
Just real quick on that point that you made there. Do you envision this more being a team based? Because I guess if it was more MMORPG, it would actually incentivize people to work more together as teams to kind of fill in the gaps, and wherever there's gaps in skill, to kind of put a team together and run through regions that way. Or are you guys leaning more towards like a single player idea where, like you say, maybe everybody starts out kind of flat and there's a leaderboard and that gets really competitive?
closer to the former. So we won't outright have like tanks, like in an MMORPG where you have like taunts and tanks and all of that. We won't have that, but we are designing it in a way where you'll want to have a dynamic team. So one of the things that we're doing is there's different destructible objects, and they're classified in 3 different ways. There's like organic, which is plants. There's inorganic, which is like your rocks and your geodes. And then you have crafted, which is like crates and barrels and things. And different weapon categories take number of attacks to break open. So since the goal is to like descend really fast, you want to have a nice mix of different weapons and things for your team. And so there's that in play. And then also we are going to do I just want to put a big caveat in here right now, just let everyone know that this is all like early level design things. So things are definitely likely to change. But yeah, what we're opening with is to use a lot of the trait balancing that's similar to what we have now with the 6 different traits with the Gotchiverse. So like heavy HP or heavy AP kind of thing. So there still will be like, I guess, more meat shields and then more glass cannons that will be in play. If that makes sense, did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just I'm kind of following along through the light paper as you're taking us through this, and I think somebody had mentioned in here, I love games like this as a kid. Mikey J also saying, love the every 10 levels risk reward mechanic. It works well in Stardew Valley, and it's a great fit for more roguelike experience.
Yeah, thanks.
No
That's
futuristics figuring it out. But this
I'm
is
not a gamer.
we
Listening, and I'm like, this is all French, but I love it. I'm here for it.
cool. Yeah, we're leaning heavily on the Stardew Valley concept, where it's the skull cavern, where you basically run as deep as you possibly can to get the best treasure at the bottom. That's one of the ideas. But we want to make it more in depth than just simple refining or getting ore and getting points. For the demo, that's all it's going to be, but we do have plans to have like bosses and different biomes and things with more of a roguelike path where you have upgrades and power-ups and things that you get within the run. So it feels like I'm kind of envisioning a cross between Hades and Stardew Valley. So those are like the two games I'm leaning heavily into for inspiration. Just to kind of give an idea. And I actually have a little video to share with you that
awesome.
Slick just sent over. The overall like artistic design is coming through, and it's starting to look really nice. But he just added this. Wait a second, not that.
I do like the aesthetic of it. You got the pixel vibe there. I've seen, I think Golden Cross shared an image there of one of the maps. It looks like you got looks like some barrels, and you got some geodes, and you know, some of those items you were referring to earlier there. Sample battle
Yeah,
map.
that's the idea. We want to really tap into that classic pixel art kind of top-down RPG game style, and that is one of the core design philosophies that we have. And make it a bit cartoonish, kind of like Aavegotchi, how it's like the cutesy cartoon. The actual story is a bit dark, but the appearance is quite cutesy and cartoony. So that's what we got going on there. Yeah, I'll touch on like just the basic background story of all that we know so far.
Oh yeah, let's.
And
do
that
some
is
lore,
million.
for sure.
So the opening story and what we know so far is many millions of blocks ago, before any of us were summoned into this plane, a vast cavern was discovered deep within it. A small team of pioneering Gotchis ventured into its depths and discovered enormous alchemica and geodeposits. It didn't take long for the word to get out. The area quickly grew into a thriving mining town. However, sometime later, the mine was closed, sealed, and the entire town abandoned. There's very little record as to what happened, and nobody knows the real reason behind its closure, and all that's left are the rumors and legends. Some claim a major mine shaft collapse, trapping dozens of workers inside. Others say a mysterious dark energy was discovered deep within the mine's core, and in an attempt to stop it from spreading, the mine was sealed and abandoned. Today, there's signs of activity emerging from within this harrowing place. The sealed portal has again been opened, and from within it, a mysterious darkness spreads. We must enlist our bravest souls to descend into the abyss and vanquish the source of evil. So it's a bit of a mystery as to what happened, because it happened so long ago, the actual spread of the chaos or the darkness. And players will find the real story being told as they go through the game in different ways, such as like finding journal scraps of the people that were existing at that time. And it's a pretty deep backstory we've got going on so far. Really excited
That's very
to
cool.
tell
So
that
like,
out.
can players expect, as they're going down through all these levels, they'll be finding little items, little clues, and kind of putting the story together as they go down deeper into the dungeon?
Yep, that's it exactly. So we have like this idea of there's this darkness spreading, but we don't really know what it is. But then we'll find pieces of the story being told through the voices of the inhabitants of the mining town from many years ago.
Awesome. Yeah, no, this is awesome. I see a question coming in here from Golden Cross. What's the timeline and team to build it look like?
Yeah, so right now the team is just myself and Slick. I'm doing the game design, the assets, and the project management, and Slick is doing all the development. And we are slated to complete the demo by mid-October. So we're moving along really fast, and things are going really well so far. And then our idea is to use this time to see what else we would need, like what holes need to be filled or how we can expand our team, and then do play testing through October and November, get feedback for the game, and then build out what the alpha phase would look like. And so to answer your question, Coder Dan, the demo is being built in Phaser, and once we deploy the demo, we're going to transfer to Unity for the alpha and beyond.
Nice. Yeah, I'm loving the phases. You guys said there's a demo that you're working on. Will that be a playable demo for the Gotchi gang, or is that going to be a demonstration? I think people want
Yep.
to know now.
So
How soon can we play this?
so we're aiming for mid-October, and if you jump to the bottom of the light paper here, the meat of the white paper has a lot of like the vision beyond the demo, but here at the bottom, the demo objectives and limits. This is what we're going to deliver for the playable demo for the community. And I'll just run through these real fast.
Yes.
So the
Awesome.
demo will be, what's up?
No, awesome. I said, yeah, no, go ahead. Take your time. It's all good.
Cool. So the demo will be multiplayer. We have in the budget money for servers, so we'll be running 3 servers regionally. I believe it's like North America, Europe, and Asia. And we want to do it 1 to 3 players. So the best experience will be as a team, but you will be able to play by yourself. So we have different level types that we'll be deploying. There's a battle type, there's an adventure and puzzle. And for the demo, the maps will be static, but the contents of the maps will be randomized. So all the destructible objects, and then on the puzzle floor, like the switches and the doors, like the different connector mechanics of those will be randomized. So it won't just be the same thing over and over again. It's all going to be one biome. So the first biome of the game is the underground forest. So there's actually a forest layer beneath the dark forest that is the first biome. And from there, the mines actually open up beyond the forest. So the demo will just be the first biome though. So the way we're going to do the scoring is we're just going to have a pretty flat scoring for the demo just to get proof of concept. And this is going to be with destructible objects. So we're going to have geodes, rocks, and like the crafted items, so like the barrels and the boxes. And there's going to be different points for each one. So you smash a common geode, for example, and I think you get 1 point. Over to godlike, and you get 250 or something like that. And it's set up in a way where the early levels have less rare drops, and then the bottom, like the deeper you go, the counter set up in a way where you get better and better rocks as you go down to break. So we'll be doing that. And then, yeah, just ladders. So the way it works, the way to progress level, I didn't really touch on that. The way it works is there's all the different geodes and rocks and plants and everything all over the map. And at random, there will be a ladder underneath one of those or multiples of those. And once you find it, you progress to the next level. So in the demo, it'll be a bit basic. If one player touches the ladder, the whole team will advance. But in the alpha and beyond, it'll be a bit more complex than that, than just one player races to the next level. And the whole team will be moving to the next level together. So it's not like you're going to be split up from your team and everyone's all over the place. It's always going to be everyone on the same level together. One mechanic we're adding is little essence. And the way it works is if these little essence are hiding in the ferns, and if you cut a fern, they kind of run away from you. But if you catch them, it'll add play clock back to the timer. So that's going to be fun. And then the battle itself.
Interesting, yeah. The little essence.
Yeah, thanks. I think it's going to be a really fun way to add another dynamic like mechanic that you have to pay attention to. And that can expand where we have like essence fuel cells and things that give more time, but they might be really hard to get. So there's like that risk versus reward going on there. Like, do you take that high risk to get more time, or do you skip it? Kind of thing. But that's for later.
Mm-hmm.
Moving into the battle, so we're going to have like a basic HUD where you have like your health and AP bars, potentially your teammates' health as well. And then we are going to implement a basic Gotchi trait system. Again, just to reiterate, this is like the early stages, so don't expect that to be, how it is forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to change quite a bit.
Yeah. Right.
And everyone is only going to have a geode smasher and fireball. So eventually we're going to have 6 weapon types, What I've done is broken every weapon into one of 6. So there's 3 melee weapons and 3 ranged weapons, and that will all play out later. But for now, we're just going to have the Geode Smasher and Fireball, so you get a feel of the melee and ranged weapons. We also have a dash mechanic, which you can see in the video I shared. Enemies will have their health bars. We plan to have 2 enemies just for the demo. There's that fire sprite you can see in the video, and a hex spider, which is being developed right now, which should be quite fun. And those will have a basic AI, which Slick's already got a good handle on. The puzzle floor will be really fun. It's going to have like different pressure sensitive switches where you need your teammates to get behind the doors, and those doors will have treasure, right? So it's like you're faced with the dilemma: do you try and race ahead to get lower to get better points, or do you actually go spend some time to open that door right there and get some treasure right now? What else? Essence timer. Yeah, kind of touched on it already. The approximate play clock is going to be 15 minutes starting out, and we'll see how that feels. And then, of course, if you capture the little essence, it'll increase your play time.
Nice.
Scoring. Yep, and then we'll have a merchant floor. The merchant won't be functioning yet. It'll just be like a placeholder, but there will be that floor where you either exit or descend lower.
For
And
scoring,
then-
you have glitter equals points. Could you just elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. So for now, the way we're doing it is each geode contains between 1 and, what did I say, like 250 glitter, depending on its rarity. So that's how we're going to do a flat score for now.
Oh, got you. Okay, awesome.
And then we're going to have, I think we decided we're doing your scores per gotchi, not per team. So there'll be like a glitter score, and then there's going to be a max floor score. So there'll be 2 leaderboards going on. And then we got some music, which is really dope. Actually, I'll share the song with you guys. I think the song
yeah.
is really, really nice. And second. There's the song for you guys.
Awesome. I'm gonna just real quick. I'm gonna try and play here, just a little jingle of it. Let's see if I can actually get it to play on my setup here. Got it. Thanks.
Oh yeah, that's the vibe right there. I like that.
I could see No Future throw a rap down to that.
Nah, it doesn't need it. It's just it's good by itself. You just want to sit there
Absolutely.
and
Man, you guys did a really good job on that. People are vibing.
Yeah, thanks. I think it really grabs the vibe of Aavegotchi, but also like this mysterious kind of forest environment where, yeah.
It really takes me back
And
to
then-
like some people were saying Zelda dungeons or like even Pokemon. Some parts of that. It's has a very nostalgic feel to it.
It's nice to hear.
Yeah,
I
saying
leaned
Sonic the
heavy.
Hedgehog Marble Zone vibes.
Nice. I leaned heavily on the Mario RPG, the Forest Maze song. So it has some of that same vibe there too. Yeah, so that's pretty much it with the demo. We're going to do the leaderboard, and then depending on Pixelcraft approval, we'll be doing an XP event for the demo.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Really well done. Like No Futuristic was saying, the light papers should be a model for future light papers for other big proposals. I think it was really well done, and just the whole project. It seems like it's been very thoughtfully planned out. Even the lore and everything. You know, that's when I first read the light paper. The lore actually did draw me in. I'm like, man, I gotta really get down all 100 levels so I can get this whole story. You know. I also see some Gotchi Gang volunteering. If you do need some some extra audio expertise. We got FaZe here, has also putting his hand out there as well.
Sweet. Yeah, keep that in mind. Absolutely.
I have a question. I know the game we talked about, you're going to be using gotchis in it and there are syncs. Will there be an option for players who don't have a gotchi? Like, would this be a good game to use for onboarding for people? Like, we had during Orium game night, a new friend, his name is Destroyer. I'm sure he's in the crowd right now. New to Aavegotchi. Would a player like this who doesn't own a gotchi be able to play and still have fun?
Yeah, so that's a great question and something that giving a lot of thought. And this is kind of where I'm leaning, and let me know how you guys think about this. And that is to have basically a free to play. Well, the game itself is free to play, but imagine someone who has no crypto experience, they could log in and there's a gotchi there for them to play. So thinking some kind of like naked gotchi or just stock gotchi that can be used to play the game and try it out, but the actual progression is capped to a point. So maybe you can only go past the first biome and it's kind of like a demo, or you can play the game, but your meta progression is not saved. But really just to lower that barrier of entry where anyone can jump in and try the game. And hopefully the game's fun enough that it entices them to, become investors in the ecosystem.
Yeah, heck yeah. I was Coder Dan mentioned the DApp radar space I did. And I actually mentioned the crawler here because it's just a good example of, the creativity of this DAO. I think it's a reasonable ask. Like the price tag is nothing compared to other
Oh
things that
yeah,
we've fun.
absolutely.
It's like, and it, just adding more game loops to the Aavegotchi ecosystem will be amazing. Are you considering, like, I don't know anything about this dev stuff, right? So once the game launches, what are your plans in terms of I guess bridging to Gotchi chain? Do you have any thoughts on that, or is that too far out?
Yeah, so it's quite straightforward for us. One of our intentions is to make minimal contract interactions, right? So we want it to be we are not bogged down by on-chain transactions. So essentially, you would just if you decide to pay for any of the assets, you just load it up at the beginning of the game, and then away you go.
Awesome, awesome.
Very cool. Thank you for running us through the light paper today. Anybody in the audience, do we have any other questions here? Things you might want to know more about the Gotchi crawler? Is that the official title that you're going with, or is that still working name for the game?
Yep, that's just a working title. I really hope and expect like the full game title to come through in development.
Absolutely. And of course, as DAOs do, if you ever have a great idea for a name that's on your mind, definitely drop it. If you would look, if you're looking for feedback or some opinions on what you guys are doing here, where can people go to share some of their feedback?
So there's a few things. There's like a DAO forum post,
Yeah.
but you can also jump into the forum chat, which is right here. And you can also just slide into my DMs if you have any questions or want private feedback. I'd be happy to chat with you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing this. Thank you for taking the time. I know it's pretty late for Slick, and so I'm glad you were able to make it here. Unfortunately, Slick could not, but he did share some stuff with us here today, so I really appreciate the little teasers, like the music and the video. It's really excited for all this, and of course, you just dropped it there. Last but not least, do not forget, if you like what you heard today with Oliver Spoon's Gotchi Crawler, head over to Snapshot, get your votes in. I believe you have 4 days on that, so get that in there. And looks like overwhelmingly it's already doing really well. So, yeah. Look forward to it.
Thanks for the time to speak, and looking forward to chat more with you guys. Love to ideate on the
Absolutely. Awesome. So next up,
Cheers, guys.
cheers. So next up, I mean, Lost Local, you are up here as well. We had a conversation earlier in the week about Rare Evo. So Rare Evo is, I believe, a 3-day event happening, Denver, Colorado, and similar kind of vibe to ETH Denver. A little bit of everything. Got some developers. You have a NFT crowd there, and some other communities that have come together. And so, just first of all, putting a call out there. If you are local in Denver, we would like to get some support out there from the DAO. I know there's been a few community members who have already put their interest forward, but if you are, in the Colorado area, in the Denver area, and you would like to go and also maybe give a hand at the booth, we have secured a booth there, and so probably a really good way to leverage that and get the DAO side exposed at these events as well. I think it's important for people to know that Pixelcraft is building a really cool experience with Aavegotchi assets with Pixelcraft Studios, but also there's a DAO that exists if you have some really great ideas, and we can help you get your own Aavegotchi themed project going as well. So I mean, we have had some presence at events in the past, but I think the DAO could have maybe some sort of a supportive role in specific events, right? Like Lost Local, you might not have it off the top of your head, but in a year, maybe like 3 events I can think of, maybe that the DAO would want to be part of for sure, and then maybe at least more than a handful that would be optional, but like the DAO should be part of, in my opinion. It might be a way.
Real quickly, what is Rare Evo for the friends like me who have no idea?
Here, let me drop
Yeah.
the link too. Yeah, just to absolutely.
I was trying to explain this to somebody, and I was like, it's a conference. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's a conference. Blockchain gaming, I'm thinking, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like ETH Denver mix-up type of thing where you have NFTs here. Traditional industry, Web3 leadership. There is like some well-known influencers in the Web3 space. Web3 gaming, NFT galleries. There's some community related events, and who should have attend. Here, I'll share the link here. You guys can have a look for yourselves.
I will say I like Soju's explanation. It's a very fancy olive oil. Is it extra virgin? Olive oil.
But yeah, this is something that Pixelcraft has secured a booth at, and so I'm sure there's going to be more of these experiences in the future, and so we should try as a DAO to leverage those things, in my opinion. And I know a couple months ago, we had Awkward AI come up and give a presentation on how the DAO could maximize our presence at these events, and maybe even have a source of revenue to cover some of those costs. So we should probably start a discussion around that. I know Rare Evo is coming up real quick, and for that one I would say, if you're in the Colorado area and can volunteer, either reach out to me or Lost Local to we can help you get connected with that. But just upcoming in general, I think the DAO having some sort of a events committee, not specifically around planning events, because I know that can get real heavy, and the DAO's taken that upon themselves before, which I thought was successful. But at the same time, I could understand if people wouldn't want the DAO to be spending so heavily on events like that. But I think there's still room for supportive role for the DAO, and maybe the DAO has like a sweatshirt or something that we've come together and developed, and that's our merch that we can sell at the event. To if you want to rep Aavegotchi DAO, I think that would be really cool to have something like that. But these are just my thoughts. I'm just kind of getting them out there, seeing if there's some interest in moving that forward, because I know it's also been contested in the past as well. Lost Local, I'd love to get creators there and tap them into the influencer networks and utilize podcast studios they'll have on site. That's basically in short. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Lost Local saying there's a great opportunity for content creation. And then second to that, I think there was some assistance that could be used at manning the booth. Lost Local.
For sure. Sorry guys.
Perfect.
I was in the I'm in the mountains and I was in a dead zone. But yeah, I kind of heard you coming through, Hefe. You definitely nailed it. Could use some help at the booth. But on the content creation side, there's a ton of influencers attending this convention, and they've got these dedicated podcast studios that we can utilize. So I'd really love to get some folks on the content side that are interested in stepping up their content game, and I will tap you directly into in with the organizers, and we can pre-schedule content with some of these influencers that have traction. So I see a tremendous opportunity here for content creators to kind of step their game up.
Man, I would love to be there. Unfortunately, I'm already going to be camping, and I will be also in the mountains at that time. I don't know, Future, you and I were discussing that maybe there might be something in the works. Were you able to follow up on any of that? What's your situation looking like for Rare Evo?
I want to talk to Ernani about it, but he is on touching grass. He's on vacation. Yeah, so I haven't had a chance to talk to him. To be honest, I don't know what to expect. Like, I have no real tell. User default might know better, but I'm gonna try to push him to see if we can go there. But I can't say one way or the other.
Right.
I know I'm poor. I cannot. Maybe if I sell a Gotchi, I can go, but I can't afford to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I guess that's probably, we could say, like, speaking for the DAO and the community and getting people there, if it's a supportive thing, even if it's a couple people, maybe get one from the content creation side and one for the booth. I'd say that's probably the biggest hang up, is that most of us are poor. Like, I don't have the money for that either. But, if the DAO was to put up a little money just for the ticket or cover that, just the entry cost, I think that would be enough for me personally to make it happen. Same with No Future, probably. Yeah. Coder Dan, when DTF 2.0? I kind of have a question in regards to how the DAO should proceed with this. I mean, I was a big part of the last DTF. And so I kind of know like what worked really well and what didn't work really well. What are the DAO's thoughts on how we want to even arrange working groups moving forward? Do we want a big DTF that's responsible for assessing and distributing and reviewing all funding? Or do we want to encourage small working groups, that are their own autonomous groups? You have a event committee that just funds event-based things, and it's not a overarching DTF. It's more of a specific, it's a group with a specific scope, just like Piglet. Yeah, we can have a one-man army, but I mean, really, if you have just a couple people in a committee and they're given some funding by the DAO with a specific mission and a specific time frame for accomplishing those things, I feel like that's a more directed approach than a generalized DTF. Because, I'll say one of the biggest challenges of the last DTF was the ability to assess funding. And, it's not a knock on any of the DTF members, but the assessments were not always relevant to the skill set of the person assessing the proposal or what have you. And so things that would have actually been maybe valuable were contested or turned away just because the person assessing it didn't have relevant experience to what the proposal was asking. So, I mean, if you did have a big DTF 2.0, I would say, I've said it before already, the model would have to be, 4 or 5 people probably compensated by the DAO with specific skill sets that can also review proposals after they've been completed, or grants after they've been completed as well.
So I will say I put up in the DAO discussion channel like months and months ago the idea of a working group. I think I was calling it the Aavegotchi Live Events Task Force or something like that. It didn't really get much traction. I think working groups in that sense, if we're being specific, I mean, an overarching DTF makes sense, but also like, smaller working groups for specific things also make sense. But it didn't seem like there was much traction. I really didn't get a lot of replies on that. So I don't know if there's much. I remember me, you, and my Callium were talking about it because I had written one night. I got really stoned and wrote out this whole like proposal on the breakdown of creating this events task force and then separating it into a biz dev team and then into the media content capture team. And then I kind of gave up on it because it didn't seem like there was much traction. But yeah, I think it's something that could work if we hammer out the details and get it right.
Absolutely. I think we've been poking and prodding and dancing around this idea for a long time, and like let's do something actionable as a DAO. Like I don't think I'll be able to do it on my own, or No Futuristic or my Calm, because of course you'll need to get the DAO behind it. I see Coder Dan's comment, maybe DAO could vote on events sub DAO. Yeah, I really like that. Maybe it is time for our Aavegotchi DAO to get its first sub DAO as an events sub DAO. Specifically, this kind of ties into Mikey J's comment. I think the community of contributors is so small that working groups are probably more suitable than committees that give out grants to others, as that probably excludes all those individuals from getting funded to do work. But we also need some way to handle sub 10K grants.
Yeah, and I'll say these IRL events, I know Lost Local could speak to this because he's been doing a bunch of them. They're really important. Like when I'm in Twitter space, people are still talking to me about the Gotchi sweaters at ETH Denver.
Yeah.
Like we made such an impact visually. Like our community is strong. We've been here. We're surviving through this bear. But when you go out there and people see us, it really does hype it up. And with the potential Gotchi chain like right around the corner, it makes sense to go out and spread the word at this time. I understand the hesitance though towards people not wanting to put money into marketing because we're still developing the product. But I think like this is the time to do it. Like while like everything is basically no one's around. Like in New York City, I said this last time, NFT NYC was like empty this year compared to previous years. If we had put even half of the budget, non-extension budget from ETH Denver into New York, we would have blown it out of the water. Ashley Decan is a big influencer. She was all over the place and there was like no one there. So we would have gotten a lot of attention if we had attended those events with a little bit more presence.
Yeah, just speaking on the marketing thing, No Future is saying how the perception of it is maybe it's a non-productive activity that maybe doesn't produce any tangible results, which is it makes it hard to measure, right? Like we would like to be able to measure our results when we finish a project and see if there's anything we could have done better or if it was even effective in the first place. Without doxing any specific people, I can say that the amount of money that the DAO spent on ETH Denver was less than the amount of money that was spent because of our efforts at ETH Denver. And I can only say that because there's some Gotchi members that came up to me after, telling me their purchases because about how bullish they were on the community at whole thing. So, again, what No Futuristic saying, I'll echo that again too. We don't need to do it that big. You know what I mean? I mean, that ETH Denver, I feel like it's worth going the extra mile, and there's a lot of eyeballs on ETH Denver, so it was definitely worth it to do that. But like NFT NYC, there's all these other events, even the Rare Evo here. We really have a lot to show, and we just need to do that by being there. If we have at least one person there representing the DAO, that says a lot. I mean, there aren't any DAOs doing that. We're talking to like Nouns DAO and all these other DAOs in East Denver, and they were really, I feel like we got applauded for getting our DAO funded, our DAO funded our trip there and representing the DAO. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it also pointed out that like IRL networking is a whole different level. Like I've become really cool with some of the biggest accounts. Like the On Polygon account follows me. Metaverse Johnny, who is now the Polygon ecosystem head for Magic Eden. Like I met him at in New York. I got to hang out with like all these like heads of Polygon stuff, like the marketing heads of One Planet for what's it called? Like you get meeting these people in IRL leads to so much more because you get to sit down and like actually have a conversation. So like Coder Dan, if you can make it, I know you're in the States. I don't know what your plans are. That would be so epic because you're a legend essentially. So it just, the IRL game is just a whole different thing because you can't, we have these conversations every day, every week on this chat here. And it's great talking to people like this. But when you get to meet people, like the connections are so much deeper and you end up getting to network on a whole different level.
Absolutely. So in short, that IRL representation, I think could go a long way.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to add is, these IRL presence, they build on top of each other. So we're at a point now where we're starting to build up a reputation, and people are like looking forward to the Aavegotchi events. Even though we haven't had a big DAO presence, at 3XP, we, at Comic-Con, we're doing these cocktail hours and parties, and people are starting to really acknowledge that we're going to show up and do something. So we've built a nice foundation here, and I think that it's a good opportunity to build on top of that.
Yeah, it's also the power of like I said, the networking. Think about it, like Lost Locals hard work. We have ins with the Krypton Goons. We have ins with the Uni Force, Oni One Force. This allows us to kind of amplify our marketing because we're working with other people on events. So it also cuts our costs because we're not funding the events fully because we've made friends. And that happens because we're there IRL meeting these people who are like geeks like us, like the 200 people in the world who are still into this. It's just a strong move,
So I just asked Mikey J, what are some of the things that DAO would like to see in a proposal to form a working group? I think this is where we should start with a framework. If we're going to be the first kind of working group doing that, or putting that together, maybe it's a good idea to have a framework so that other people who want to create working groups for their initiative in the DAO have something to work off of. So we're not, I really like what Oliver Spoon put together there. Like that could be a great template for somebody asking for funding their game. Like my recommendation after seeing that is go look at his light paper and base your structure something similar to that, because it was really easy to understand and get through. But I think we should also think similar in terms of like, what does the working group framework or proposal look like? Mikey J here says, mission statement to set a mandate for the existence of the group, short and long-term roadmap of initiatives, and annual budget. So very simply, I think that's something to work off there. Mikey J also giving some examples here: developer relations working group, player engagement working group, protocol economics working group. And so I think really the DAO could work most effectively within its structure in terms of working groups. When it starts getting messy and we have too many working groups, we can look at maybe getting we're nowhere near that there, but we can look at amalgamating, and maybe there's room for something more overarching there that can kind of manage that, maybe a sub DAO even. So yeah, those are just some of the thoughts there, getting that out there. In terms of Rare Evo, we have a couple volunteers, but if you're still interested, reach out to either me or Lost Local, and we'll kind of keep tabs on that. We got a little group going on right now. So if you'd like to be a part of that movement, especially if you're a content creator, look, Futuristic and I have been, and of course Roxiano and a few others. There's a core group of content creators within Aavegotchi, but if you've been thinking about creating content and you haven't really jumped into it or fully committed, this could be your opportunity to really just take it by the reins and go meet some people and make a little bit of a name for yourself with whatever content you're trying to pursue. So, oh, I see Light Piglet also dropping the Meow Wolf. That is definitely something. Next time we all get together, hopefully Eat Denver next year, we can all get together at the Gotchi Lodge 2024 and have a Meow Wolf experience together. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Oh, on another tip, festival badges. I'd love to chat with the homie about some badges for Rare Evo. And we'll, those will be budgeted. So I know those were made for East Denver out of the kindness of their heart, but I'd love to commission some for Rare Evo.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That would be Awkward AI, who's been doing an amazing job. Really well put together. I still got one sitting on my shelf. Got my raffle one. There's different rarities and stuff. But yeah, okay, awesome. I will put my thoughts together on that. Maybe talk to some of the other people that might be interested in a events working group, and maybe that's the direction we work towards. Appreciate a lot of the feedback around this because it's something we've been discussing since Eat Denver, and really like to get something in a supportive sense for the DAO so we can encourage more of our friends to represent the DAO at these events. Coder Dan, got a bounce. Great combo and strongly agree. It's a good time to start experimenting with some funded subgroups. Yeah, appreciate the insights there, sir. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Yeah, awesome.
All right, friends. Stay awesome. Peace out.
Peace.
Take
All
it
right,
easy, sir.
friends. Well, I think on that note, we can wrap it up. No futuristic, less local. You guys got anything?
No, friends, stay cool. It's really hot, depending on what part of the planet you're on. Drink some water.
Yeah.
Stay
Have a great weekend, everyone. And slide into my DMs if you've got any questions about Colorado.
Hell yeah. Later, friends. Have a good weekend. Peace.